We are knee deep into almost the go home show, getting ready for the pay-per-view that we've all been waiting for, AEW Revolution 2022. We're psyched for this. It's gonna be good.
AEW pay-per-views are always great.
You never feel like you don't get your money's worth, and that's the most important thing. Like, even what you would consider the closest thing they had to a botch on a pay-per-view, and you still weren't really all that accept of it, was the exploding barbed wire match. And even then, you're still like, if you watch back, it's a good match. It's just so they always deliver. You always feel like you get your money's worth. And you can go to, you can go to Cinemark, you can go to AMC, and you can go to iPick if you want to go eat some food, get some beers. I think it's like it's basically a half price of what you would pay at home, but you're going to eat some food if you're going to, and drink some beer if you're going to eatery. Although, does AMC do food besides like the popcorn and nachos?
They've got some food, but not much.
Got it.
But I don't. I was thinking about it, but then I decided against it.
You're gonna.
Yeah, I was kind of like, well, I mean, it is cool, but then I was just like, what? But it'll be like 4 or 5 hours at the movie theater.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's why I wasn't sure. Like, iPix is showing, and iPix has really comfy seats, but you know you're gonna spend some money. And if you're going with more than one person, then you're just like, but you'll spend a little bit more money when it's all said and done. So it's just like, you could watch it at home too. So yeah, I'm leaning towards that too. Let's go over some of the matches here.
You got the card up there?
Yeah, I got the card.
They always come up with a great card by the time the pay-per-view rolls around.
They do.
Even though like it seems like the creative has been a little all over the place since the last pay-per-view, by the last 2 episodes of Dynamite, they really just pull everything together.
Yeah, they really did. You know, because I told you my son, he was a little bit on the fence. And he's like, oh, wait, you know what? I had a change of heart. Let's definitely get it. And I was like, well, what changed your mind? And he said MJF versus CM Punk in the dog collar match. And I was like, my boy. Because, yeah, that's, to me, that's the big one, right? Well, that's the big one on the male side. The female side, we know the big one. Friend of the show, Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker for the AEW Women's title. I think this could be the coronation, or you think they're going to drag it out for one more?
I don't know. I feel like they could absolutely drag it out and it would be acceptable, but I hope they don't.
I hope they don't. And you brought up a really good point. They're about to do their Texas tour, and man, Road Warrior pop for Thunder coming into Austin and San Antonio with that belt. Road Warrior pop.
Places will be destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's just like everything will come crashing down. People will die.
Yeah, and they cut a great promo on Rampage. And I thought it was weird that Britt Baker kind of, like, it was like you said, one of her better promos, but she kind of called it out weird, just like, you're nothing but people like your song. And I was like, I don't think that's true. I think it's just, she got over, I feel like she didn't even have that song the whole time. She just got over the minute she came from NWA with her look and her vibe. Before they even full-time All Elite, to me, she just felt like a star.
Yeah, you never notice her song. You just hear the Thunder Rosa at the beginning. But
no.
It still was a good promo. I like when she said I was building this company while you were wrestling on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, man. Mick Foley brought up a good point. When I think he was on the Thunder Rosa eating tacos, the taco vlog. I think he brought up that, like, Tony Khan's been shelling out money for all these songs. Like, he needs to get Thunderstruck for her.
Yes. Why is that? Can you imagine the crowd chants?
Oh, man. Yeah, people would get nuts there. So I think that would be great. But, yeah, sorry. I jumped ahead twice because I had a story for both. So we got, I'm going to do this in Taz's voice. We got Wardlow against Keith Lee, against Powerhouse Hobbs, against Ricky Starks and Orange Cassidy. And then a TBD, Face of the Revolution ladder match.
We're going to have a surprise entrant there?
Yeah. Well, I think we're in for 2 surprises.
Jeff Hardy? It's a ladder match.
Yeah. I think Jeff Hardy is coming because I saw Matt Hardy throw up the extreme symbol a couple of times. People are chanting delete as he's already ready to cut bait from the Hardy Party. And then
Please give Matt Hardy a chance to do the delete gimmick proper.
With people? Dude, it's still, I was just like, maybe it died, but like, when people see that he's about to possibly turn with Jeff coming back, they're starting to chant delete.
That has the potential to be like yes chant level delete. I mean, yes chant level sort of like
Yeah,
hype.
I can totally see that. And he owns it, right? So I think they can do it. And now having brother Jeff Hardy coming back, even if he just came back, you think he would get a huge pop even if he came back as brother Nero when he came back with the blanked out eyes?
100%.
Yeah, he would still get that pop, right?
Everybody watched all the everybody that's in the AEW watched all the the Matt Hardy internet stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good shit, man. So, yeah, I think there's a very good chance he's going to be in there. But, Matt Hardy has Isaiah Cassidy, Andrade, and Matt Hardy against Sting, Darby, and Sammy Guevara. So, I don't know if Jeff's going to come there or if they're going to let Jeff come out by himself. I feel like he's going to get a monster pop, but, like, the fan in me would like to book it to where he came in with Matt Hardy in the ring too. I feel like his pop's would be a little bit bigger if Matt was there because you just have the double energy. So as much as I'd like to see him in that ladder match and he'd get that pop, I want Matt to be a part of that. But I know sometimes they want to separate them and want them to do their own thing. But
this will be a good time where Matt can drop the Hardy, what is it? The Hardy family order or whatever?
Oh, yeah, the Hardy family office,
drop the
HFO.
suit, put the robe back on.
Yeah.
Take the ponytail off, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe they turn it into an extended gimmick. Maybe he comes back as the face of the Revolution ladder match, and then Matt Hardy realizes it, and then maybe they just spread it over a couple of weeks. Like next thing you know, he has his nervous breakdown, and then he says, ha, 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 and then it's on.
Yep.
So it could happen.
And then we start getting some cool internet videos.
Yeah, because honestly, I would love to see.
Let them do the Hardy compound proper at AEW. That would be fun.
That would be great because that means we got Hardy compound in Impact, WWE, and AEW. That's star power where you can jump to 3 different organizations and pull that off.
Do we get Vanguard 1 back?
I hope so. God, I hope so. And Dilapidated Boat. I mean, there's so much stuff that you can bring back. And I'd honestly like to see something with Sting. And, obviously he did really well with him in Darby's cinematic match. I'd like to see something with the Hardys and those two. That would be fun, right? Matt and Jeff Hardy, but you get brother Nero Hardy against Sting and Darby in a cinematic match.
Directed by Darby.
Yeah. Or Darby's into that too.
Do it.
I'm all for that, so we see that. Next match, really super hot promo, quasi-shoot style promo when you had Chris Jericho has another nickname against John Moxley. They gave him another nickname, the Influencer.
Who's the influencer?
Chris Jericho, Le Champion, the Demo God, and now he's the Influencer. But did you watch that promo with Eddie Kingston?
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it was like somewhat of a shoot because I felt like Eddie kept wanting to cut him off. And then he's like, oh, all right, bro. And he just like let him go with it. But
it's kind of a bummer that everybody shoots on Eddie Kingston now as the promo because it's like, the first time, it was awesome, whatever. But now he keeps getting insulted. And I don't like it.
Yeah, because he's like, I was in my 20s when I finally made it, and I was an international star, and where were you? And you don't try hard enough, and that's the same thing that Brian was doing to him.
That's what everybody says. You don't try hard enough.
Yeah,
you're a bum.
So I don't know. I want to see Eddie with Santana and Ortiz, and I want to see them as the baseball Furies. Keep the paint on and just be that New York crew. He doesn't have to paint his face, but I like those 3 together. It feels natural to me. It feels very natural. They're a good
trio. I mean, they've talked for a while about doing the trios belts. I hope they do that.
They need to
I think
do
they have
that.
enough people now that they can
totally
swing that.
Do.
But either way, I think Eddie needs a strap. He needs to get a run with the strap.
He does.
I think he needs to take that belt from Sammy because he would get that belt so over.
Oh, he totally will. Yeah, Mike and I were talking about this yesterday. I feel like Darby and even Sammy in a way, and you can even argue that we'll see how it goes with Adam Page. That people wanted these guys to get the strap for so long, and now that it got it, was the destination as good as the chase? Because the baby faces are over super over when there's a chase, but once they finally get there, there's a different challenge of staying there. Like, you got to make it worth it. And I feel like Eddie would be like, all right, you guys say, I didn't try hard enough. Now I got this belt. I dare you to come get it. I dare you to come get it. Anybody come get this belt whenever you want. You're not going to take it. I worked here. I'm almost 40 years old and I worked so hard to get this belt. I will kill you before I get this belt. And then they're like, yeah, now you basically, any challenger is a threat to his life and his livelihood.
Yep.
And then Cesaro walks out as Claudio and and you got your quasi shoot. Oh man. Yeah, that's money.
And then Claudio cuts a promo where he tells him that you were lazy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. Yeah, that would be sad. And then we got, that would be good. Claudio, dude, Punk, everyone's a fan of him in the locker room, too. So if you look at him, you probably think it was Eddie Kingston is lazy compared to like Cesaro, but who isn't? Guy like speaks 7 languages and he sleeps on like a wood plank.
His nickname is Superman.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Next up, we got Bryan Danielson versus Moxley. Before I fight with you, I have to bleed with you. I think these guys are gonna beat the crap out of each other.
Is Bryan Danielson right now probably the best wrestler in the world?
Yeah.
I think so
because
too.
it feels like
what he's doing is he's just unbelievable.
Well, it's unprecedented too because it feels like a shoot. Like it feels like it's now. The Yes chant was cool, and it, obviously it got way over, and it was a little bit of a shoot because he was positioned as the underdog by Vince McMahon because maybe you're too small, pal, and we have to put you as the underdog. But now we're seeing, like you said, this Brock Lesnar version of Bryan Danielson, and now this is a heightened version of him because he has no doubt he's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and maybe he thinks these guys are. Now he's telling these guys the same things that he told The Miz, like your style is soft. I want to see you wrestle me. So I think this could be a show stealer too.
I think Cornette calls it when he says, Bryan Danielson's the guy who can make you look good by beating you.
Yeah.
And he's just never been better. He's got the shoot feel. He is AEW's Brock Lesnar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People see him go, and it feels like a shoot fight.
Yeah. Yeah, because you see his chest is always bleeding and beat up, and these guys, he beats the crap, these fights. He gets into these fights. It has nothing to do with, like, his size. He just gets into these gnarly, gnarly fights, man. So it's going to be good. And I think this is going to be good. And I hope it happens. And I hope Moxley has somewhat of a turn with Bryan Danielson. And they become basically these guys that are like, we're going to beat the respect into you. We're going to force you to go into the deep water. We're going to make you feel uncomfortable so we can get the best out of you. And I hope they do that. And eventually, I think it could be argued that Punk could be part of that crew too. I know people are ready to see CM Punk versus Bryan in a way, but I'd like to see the swerve and have these guys as, New World Order style with Hogan, Hall, and Nash. I'd like to see Punk, Moxley, and Bryan, and just like pushing these guys to their limit. And just because all 3 of these guys are quasi shooters when they're on the mic.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that more than I want to see Punk wrestle either one of these guys. I'd rather see them basically running the gamut and being a clique there, similar to the NWO. Without the, obviously, we're taking over and not getting, like, the difference is, like, NWO, they wouldn't put anybody over, but I'd like to see these guys doing it and forcing them to get into the deep water and making people better because, when this is the next match we're talking about, this MJF versus CM Punk stuff is great. It feels very old school.
That last MJF promo was out of sight.
Yeah. Oh, man. And then Punk played. It's just like, is it true? And then, like, he was working the tears in there and just like, yeah. I mean, I'm glad that it wasn't a one and done. Like, he let him, Punk believes on him when MJF went over on Punk in Chicago twice in the same night. And and I'm glad that they're going to continue to do this. And I love the way that they just kind of weaved it into Piper in Portland. It's like, okay, you want to be Piper in Portland? Because did you ever see the Roddy Piper versus Greg Valentine dog collar match that they keep referring to.
I never saw that.
Just absolutely, when it's done, you watch it on YouTube. It's going to blow your mind because it felt like a shoot, and Piper's ear was bleeding. And you had years and years later that he's like, my hearing was never the same. And it just felt like a shoot. And then we have no idea. But this match, what was cool about this match is this was before, Piper was on, I call it WCW, but it was NWA 505 on Saturdays. And he was Hyper Piper but people who saw this match saw it as it was a Pro Wrestling Illustrated VHS tape that you would go and rent. And it was one of the few times that this is the best of the matches from these other territories that are not WWE. So the first time I saw it was on a Pro Wrestling Illustrated VHS tape that I rented at my local video store. And I was just like, whoa. And I think by that time, they might have already even made it to WWE by then. So you're like, this was old Piper versus old Greg Valentine. And Greg Valentine, by that time, people are like, oh, he's boring. He runs the Garden. But you saw this match, and you're like, holy crap, man. I think Gordon Soley called it too. So I loved how they weaved Piper in Portland, and now they turned it into a dog collar match. So definitely worth checking out that Piper versus Valentine. But yeah, and checking out this pay-per-view. I'm excited to see it. This next match, they kind of just squeezed in there, but the right word is squeezed because it is Jade Cargill versus Ty Conti for the TBS Championship. This is her, other than Thunder Rosa's match with her in the tournament, this is her first real threat for the title, right?
Yeah, and also Ty Conti's second title shot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because she got Britt that time, right? We still want heel Ty, but yeah, these two, obviously they both look like superstars. Again, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter if we're talking WWE or AEW. Women's wrestling is great right now. It's so freaking good. It's so freaking good. That you have multiple matches like this. And again, Thunder Rosa's our favorite wrestler. So, but just even to have this match, I feel like this is finally elevating Jade Cargill now that she's got the belt. They're trying to make her a Goldberg. They're giving her the win streak. So, are you excited for this match?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this. But I agree, it is kind of just squeezed in there. But I'm sure it's going to be good. I'm definitely, there's nothing on the card that I'm not looking forward to. There's no bathroom break material on the card.
Yeah, they're not good with bathroom breaks.
So yeah, it's good. I think it'll be a good match. Not a lot of setup, but I'm sure it'll be great.
No, it wasn't a lot of setup, but it took a long time. Was it Goldberg 50 matches in before he finally got everyone was talking about the two matches I remember is when he fought Haku Meng, because you're like, oh man, this is like a shoot fight, and you knew Meng could take him out for real if he wanted to. Then you had the shoot fight with Steven Regal, William Regal, which was like a shoot fight, which is just William Regal's like, what are you talking about? That's just how I work. But then you had finally when he got Raven and he won the U.S. title. I feel like Jade Cargill's now at that level of just now she's at that U.S. title. It's okay, now she's going to be a real threat, because eventually the buildup has to be, if you really want to go that route of the Goldberg route, the Ultimate Warrior route, she stays undefeated, and as the TBS championship, she challenges whoever's got the big strap, the big female strap.
Yeah, I feel like Jade Cargill is still on the rise.
Yeah,
even though she's got the belt now. To me, she's sort of like Tony Khan's first attraction.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That he created a homegrown attraction.
Good point. Yeah, very good point.
Folks want to come just see her. You know what I mean? Just to see her in actual life, because you can't believe a person looks like that, right?
I know. Yeah, she legit looks like an action figure.
So she's like AEW's first attraction, and I think she's gonna be a great champ. I think she's still on the rise, though. You know what I mean? I don't think she's had that match, that one match that makes you think, oh yeah, she's great.
No, yeah, she hasn't been pushed for that yet. Her high-profile match was her first match, right? When she was with the Shaq match. I feel like that was right. The big profile match, but she hasn't been pushed yet. Now, Now to get her where she needs to be, obviously she's a star. She looks like a star. She's even, her work is good. Like she doesn't seem like, Goldberg got a lot of heat because like, oh man, his work is so bad or he's going to hurt someone. I feel like she doesn't get that, but like they got to bring her into the deep water. You got to see how she's going to be now when she gets challenged, and I feel like Ty, they kind of did it with the bunny. The bunny got some offense. Right. So you need to push that next level and take her into the deep water. And Ty can do that because Ty's technically a shooter, right? She's a judo shooter.
100%. This is my kind of like, I guess, critique or whatever. You can tell me what you think because you're an actual professional and understand these things. But like, I feel like Jade Cargill sells a little too hard for whoever she's with. I feel like her selling is too much. She's a behemoth, right? She's huge. I think somehow that needs to get toned back, or maybe, I don't know. What do you think about that?
No, you hit the nail on the head. Like if she sold the way she sold, like some of the matches against the bunny, Vince McMahon would have chewed her ass out in Gorilla. You don't sell, damn it. You're an Amazon. You're a behemoth. You don't sell for them unless I tell you sell for them. So your instinct is correct. But I think it's just her time in the ring, because she's still a rookie, right? And when you're a rookie, you're a little bit more generous. You oversell because you want to make sure that the people in the locker room know that you're willing to work with them. It's very hard to be put in the position without having someone like Vince telling you better not sell, to decide to go into your business for yourself and saying, I'm big, I'm not going to sell, because that's going to brand you as an asshole. Or someone's like, I can't make money with this person, or I can't work with this person. You need somebody like Tony Khan to remind not only her, but the person that she's working with that, hey, nothing personal, but this is how we're going to make money. The George the Animal Steel talk with me for Ahmed Johnson. It's just like, remember, he's a building. You can't touch him. You can't move him. You're still telling a story. So your instinct is right. They just need to have somebody in there to remind her, hey, we know we're building you into this superstar, so we have to sell a little bit less. But that's got to be a management decision. That's got to be Arn Anderson walks over and has that conversation with not only her but working. So yeah, you're 100% right.
Yeah. So, and like, not that you're right. Not that she shouldn't sell for people. Just the way she does it is a little bit too much. But
yeah.
Anyway, that's it. Other than that,
Yeah. I mean, she wants to show that she can take bumps, and she can. I mean, she's an athlete. She walked out from day one, and you're like, okay, Vince is going to be jealous because Tony's got a star right there, a homegrown star. So props to that. Next match, we have the Jurassic Express versus, I didn't know they had a team name, but they got a team name now. Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, or Red Dragon.
Yeah, the Red Dragon.
They're the Red Dragon versus a TBD team. Looks like they were teasing some in that tag team battle royal, some stuff with FTR and the Bucks. Strange that the Bucks are not on this card yet, so I'm assuming that TBD is going to be the Bucks. Would the Bucks not book themselves on the pay-per-view? Or Tony Khan's got the full book now, so I guess maybe they don't get a say?
I'm not sure. I didn't realize they weren't on the card. I didn't even think about it.
Oh, JJ said that comes from the Ring of Honor days. See, I didn't know that. I didn't watch a whole ton of Ring of Honor with these guys. So, but I mean, I like it, and I was just like, okay, cool. They got matching gear. They're a tag team. I like that better, that they established their history together. And then you got Adam Cole kind of in the middle because, he has history with both the Bucks and Red Dragon. So I'm cool with that. So we'll see if that's going to play out at all in this TBD of the tag teams. But I assume that Jurassic Express is not losing their belt yet.
Not yet. I feel like they got the belts a little late, but I think they were at their biggest right at when AEW started.
Yeah.
But whatever. They are getting the run, and that's cool.
Yeah. Then we have the match that we are looking most forward to, and we talked about this already: Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. The more I think about it, I think it's time. Give Thunder it's time for a run. Like, because Britt Baker's had it for a long time, right? Over a year?
Has it been over a year?
I feel like it's got to be at least close to or over a year. And not that I'm all
Kushida had it for a year, right?
Yeah. So, not that I'm all for the take turns. Now it's turned. I just think that Thunder Rosa is just so over, and she's all over the place. I mean, she's got her, she's got Mission Pro. She's doing stuff with Game Changer. She's anywhere she goes, she's their star. She's the YouTube. That's not an insult when you say when I'm wrestling on YouTube. It's like YouTube sensation, man. That's a big deal. Call Matt Cardona a YouTube sensation because he is. He's got a lot of belts. So I think it's time. I think it's time for Thunder to. I wish they would have built it up a little more. Is my only complaint, that they could have been building this way back up from back in the day. Since their Lights Out match where they both got uber over. But it's just Brett was a little bit ahead of where Thunder, because Thunder just kind of just got there. So there's also a part of me that thinks you could drag it. And I don't want to see it one and done, and I don't want them to move on to somebody else. I want to see it continue. So then there's that part of me, well, then does somehow Britt screw Thunder and she doesn't get it yet? And then they wait for her to get it in San Antonio? Because that would be a Road Warrior pop.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. So if she doesn't get it this week, then maybe she gets it in San Antonio. Because San Antonio's before Austin, right?
Yes, it's the week before.
Yeah. So 100%. Maybe they wait for her to get it there. So maybe something happens and this is their way of dragging it on. Because I want to see them work more than just like we got teased on that Lights Out match. And then I feel like we never got him again. And so they was like, okay, they must be saving. Well, now they're saving it. Let's MJF versus CM Punk and let's just drag this out.
Also, can we give Thunder Rosa a faction, please?
Yeah.
Like, give her a squad. I think her, Mercedes Martinez, and then bring in the Renegade Twins from Mission Pro.
Oh yeah, that is a squad. That's a monster squad. No pun intended. I'd like to see that. Give them all a little bit of different. Oh man. Yeah, from the Graveyard Gang or the Tijuana, the Stars from that would be great. I feel like they are, at least because Mercedes is now part of this, right? She bled with Thunder, and now she'll fight with Thunder because now, right, they have Jamie Hayter and Rebel.
I'm glad about that. I was bummed when Mercedes came in and she was instantly heel.
Yeah,
with, Thunder.
And now
I thought they would have been great together.
Yeah, and now they got it. You think they're ever going to have the female tag team? The belts?
They should. I'm sure that's in the works. They've got the people now.
They got enough people.
They just added the TBS belt, so maybe that's a while away, but it's going to happen.
I'd like to see, again, we don't like a ton of belts, but I think there's room for female belts, and there's female tag belts, and then there's room for trio belts. And I think, man, that would be tough.
And make the trio belts intergender.
I was just going to say, are we ready for intergender? Where basically, because if you think about this, how cool would it be for Butcher, Blade, and Bunny to be the trios championship? Yeah. I like them as their own faction. Get them out of the Hardy family office. Just have Butcher, Blade, and Bunny, and have Darcy come to the ring with them sometimes, and just have that horror faction. I like that haunted house feel. I'd like to see that. So that's our pitch. So Tony Khan, call us if you need us to bookmark it. This is right around the 1 hour something mark. Just call us and just say, hey, what's this new idea you have? We can do it on our regular call. All right, and then the final match. With all that being said, does the main event feel like Hangman Adam Page versus Adam Cole?
Wow, yeah.
With all the matches we just said.
That's gonna be the main event because they do it proper. But
yeah, that's like. But think about this. It's the opposite of what WWE does. They're like, well, no one star is bigger than the roster, so we're going to we'll do it this way. But now they're like, okay, the AEW championship should go last, but like, man, we just named a bunch of main events.
That's every AEW pay-per-view. It's full of main events.
Yeah. these are all main events, so we're ready to go. So I don't know. I think there's no I can't see any way that Hangman Page loses his belt to Adam Cole at this moment. Do you?
No. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But I feel like this match maybe is it feels a little dry for a reason. Maybe we're going to get some storyline here. Something's going to happen.
Oh, sorry. Mike was texting. I didn't know if he was on there or was going to read what he was texting. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. But I just think they're doing a bunch of other stuff with Adam Cole that kind of takes away, that has nothing. Because they have all this all these politics and all these friendships are kind of all interweaved in there, right? Because you have Red Dragon, you have the Bucks, you had Adam Page that was part of the Elite, right? And he had his run with Kenny Omega, but then you had Adam Cole was part of that too. And then we have Kenny Omega hanging. Is like, does he make some kind of like run in? Is he done with Adam Page? Because was that just a one and done? Is he coming back yet? I mean, a run in from him, because would that have felt more like a main event if you had Kenny Omega as part of this, as part of a triple threat?
I don't know. I guess it doesn't feel main eventy because it just didn't have a lot of build,
Yeah.
Just kind of threw Adam Cole in line.
Yeah, which
is fine. It sounds like it's going to be a good match.
Oh yeah, no. This isn't about if it's going to be a good match or a bad match.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're going to have a good match for sure. But like JJ said, it's like feels weird. The Dynamite isn't really built around Hangman like it was when Omega was their championship. Like they didn't build the show around him, where everybody knew that Stone Cold was going out last and the show was going to be built around him, where it doesn't really feel like that with Hangman, because he has the disadvantage, or whatever you want to call it, of having all these other stars that are there, and he's their top guy. He needs these guys to give him a rub, because look, think about it. I mean, he's on top right now with the belt in a company that has Chris Jericho, Jon Moxley, CM Punk, and Bryan Danielson, and Adam Page is on top of those guys.
And to this day, I think that isn't Hangman probably, out of everyone who's had the AEW championship, probably the least known?
Yeah, no, 100%, absolutely. It was even somewhat controversial giving Kenny Omega the belt. Remember, they kind of had to retool him a little bit to give him that belt. And then when he came out as the belt collector and the cleaner and just the obnoxious heel who couldn't cut a promo, and that kind of elevated him, where they didn't do that with Adam Page. Is he going to run into the problem of the chase was more exciting than the catch?
Time will tell. I don't know.
Because they were wanting, they were pissed at Chris Jericho for carrying the belt and not putting Adam Page over back then for the first time. But I 100% back that play. You got Chris Jericho and you just started a new company. Chris Jericho gets the belt. Sorry. And he gave the rub by having Adam Page make it that far, in my opinion. So did he get enough of a rub? And he was getting over. I'm not saying he wasn't getting over, but was it enough to stay over that you have these other guys? Like, what's going to happen if they do this faction with Bryan, CM Punk, and Moxley, and you have Adam Page on top? Now you have a true threat to Adam Page, and this is where he can shine. And just like, you got these guys that are like, we're stars. You're not a star. You were a flicker and you never got over. We're over. I mean, you give that quasi-shoot interview and we're coming for that belt because we sell the tickets. We're going on in the middle, or we're opening, we're curtain jerk as a favor to you, but we're the stars and we're getting over. Now you have a true threat to those belts, and how Adam Page reacts to that is what's going to determine if he's a star or not.
Can I book this real quick?
Yeah, book it.
I think you have that faction of CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, and Jon Moxley versus the Four Pillars.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Because again, and I was talking to Mike about this, is like the Four Pillars do have the issue of just like Ric Flair, and I'm talking about the canceled Ric Flair. Just take a journey with me. Ric Flair is Ric Flair 24/7, 365. He's
Before
not
the internet.
Yes. He's not playing Ric Flair. He is Ric Flair. When he goes in the ring, when you run into him in the elevator, he is Ric Flair. Right? So Chris Jericho is a rock star. He comes out in purple sneakers and his leather jacket, and he feels like he's a star, and people are singing his song. And that's why he's telling Eddie Kingston, you're not a star, I'm a star. And he's not wrong about him. I mean, he's trying to give Eddie that rub. Here's the thing about some of the four pillars, other than MJF, who is MJF on Twitter, and he's cursing out little kids, and he's giving the finger to Special Olympics. So let's just talk about Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Jungle Boy. Like, they go out there, and they are these characters, but you feel like he's not going to be Jungle Boy when you run into him. And is Darby going to be Darby in a hotel lobby, when you run into him? And that, you feel that. You can feel that. Mick Foley called it that X factor that they have. You can feel that. So the four pillars need somebody to elevate them and turn, Jack Perry into Jungle Boy 24/7, 365. And I know it's a different time, I could argue, that's what's going on with Charlotte Flair, but she's staying Charlotte Flair. So you need somebody to push them. And that new faction, I think you just booked it. That the pillars need to be pushed and tested, earthquake tested. And I think you just booked it. So Tony Khan owes you a check.
Four pillars, which includes a heel MJF. It's like Joker joining up with the Justice League.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. You just took it into the congratulations. I didn't even hear
the check.
Yeah. I didn't even hear the elevator button, but you just took us to a whole new level. Like, I didn't even realize that. If he do that and just like, look, I don't want to team with you guys, but I have no choice because we are the future, and he could almost be the quasi-leader to really help elevate them and push them, because he said it. Britt Baker is the true fourth pillar, but because Britt Baker is Britt Baker, I feel like if she was if she was giving me a root canal, I feel like she would be talking shit because she feels like it would be Britt Baker. Like, I feel like she's pulling it off, and I think the other pillars need to do that, and I think you just found a way to do it. Have these guys grind them into steel.